Marriage and Love Carlos King, the creator of the reality show Huntsville, first attracted viewers' attention by showing prosperous African American couples navigating the highs and lows of life, love, and business. The married couple Martell and Melody Holt, now Melody, were the focus of the show. Shari Rogers was portrayed as the epitome of a contemporary, prosperous married couple. Both Melody and Martell were extremely enterprising, juggling their business endeavors and raising 3 young children while presenting a successful and contented public persona. Melody was presented as a clever, attractive, and astute woman who contributed to the prosperity of their home, while Martell was portrayed as a strong, masculine businessman running a construction company. They appeared to have it all together: a successful career, a loving marriage, and the ideal family. In addition, the couple led a group of like-minded individuals known as the Renaissance Group, which on the surface represented their goals and desires. The marriage between Martell and Melody appeared to be one of the show's pillars, but as the series went on, it became evident that this seemingly ideal partnership was anything but. After years of concealing the relationship's flaws, viewers discovered that Martell had been having a protracted affair with someone else while cheating on his wife. Melody was devastated by this infidelity, which also destroyed the appearance of their ideal marriage. A strong emotional bond was formed between Martell and his mistress as the affair became widely known. Martell's lies mounted as the affair went on, and Melody, worn out by the emotional toll, made the decision to dissolve the marriage. The situation worsened when Martell's mistress became pregnant, adding fuel to the fire. These private matters were broadcast on television, and it was evident that Martell's behavior was seriously harming the dynamic of the show as well as his marriage. The cast and general direction of the show were significantly impacted by Melody and Martell's divorce. The original cast consisted of the Scott brothers, Maurice and Martell, along with their wives, Kimmy and Letitia. Similar to the Holts, the Scott family appeared to have all the makings of a prosperous couple. Both men were prosperous businessmen with wives who were well-educated and attractive. But as the first season went on, it became more and more obvious that Martell and Melody's marriage was tense and that their dynamic was shifting. Holt's marital problems hinted at what was to happen, and the couple's eventual divorce signaled the start of a dysfunctional phase that would characterize the program for years to come. The show's very foundation started to fall apart with the breakup of Martell and Melody. All of the cast members were impacted by Martell's post-divorce behavior, and the actors' relationships started to suffer. The Scott brothers initially made an effort to disassociate themselves from Martell's adultery, but tension arose from the need to maintain their own marriages while remaining impartial. Maurice and Marlowe's attempts to disassociate themselves from Martell's toxic conduct. Melody experienced tense interactions as a result of the behavior, and she started to feel resentment towards her old friends Kimmy and Letitia for failing to help her through her marital emotional crisis. Over time, this distance only grew wider as tension increased due to Martell's ongoing appearance on the show and the fallout from his actions. As the show's plot continued to center on the fallout from Martell and Melody's relationship, the return group, which had once stood for unity, disintegrated, and the cast members became separated, leaving few close friendships intact. In an effort to revitalize the series, new couples were added, such as Melody's friend Destiny and her ex-husband LeBaric Williams. When Destiny, who owns a local beauty supply store, was first introduced as a new voice on the show, her marriage broke down almost right away. Like Melody's relationships with Kimmy and Letitia, Destiny's friendship with Melody rapidly soured after LeBaric left the show. Other couples like Tiffany and Louis Whitlow's appearance only served to emphasize the persistent dysfunction. Tiffany and Alice's brief participation in the show came to an abrupt end because they were worried about how the show would affect their relationship and mental health. Many of the other contestant storylines had already been overshadowed by the ongoing drama surrounding Martell and Melody by the time the show added new characters like Stormy Steele and her husband, former professional basketball player Courtney Beasley. It appeared as though Stormy, a prosperous businesswoman, and her spouse could provide a welcome change. Even so, they were not immune to Holt's poisonous behavior. In spite of their attempts to change the story's tone, the main characters' continued animosity and dysfunction still had an impact on the show's course. Another couple, Chris and Nell Fletcher, who were later introduced, attempted to resolve the conflict and assist Martell and Melody in co-parenting their kids. But as the show progressed into its later seasons, the drama surrounding Martell and Melody only grew more intense in one of the most startling moments, and their attempts to make amends only served to widen the gap between them and their old friends. After Martell allegedly threatened to release a private sex tape from their marriage, Melody took him into custody. The cast was split on Melody's arrest. Some supported her choice. Melody's decision to cut off contact with the other women in the cast because they disagreed with her decision to call the police further polarized the group, even though some felt the situation could have been handled differently. Other cast members experienced personal legal troubles in later seasons, such as Destiny's arrest on check fraud charges and Maurice's arrest for driving under the influence. The show's sense of dysfunction and instability only grew as a result of these incidents. Huntsville's Love and Marriage had deteriorated to a shadow of its former self at this point, with once close case-knit couples now split. The relationships were irreparably damaged, and it appeared that everyone on the show was either dealing with personal issues or in a state of perpetual conflict. Storm and Courtney's marriage was the only one that appeared to be intact, but the chaos was only exacerbated by their rumors that they would be leaving the show for the upcoming season. The show's chaotic atmosphere was further exacerbated by the arrival of more scandalous characters like Sunny Minx, who married Destiny's ex-boyfriend, and Trisha and Ken, a fitness couple. These newcomers appear to be driving the show further into dysfunction with their excessive marital scandals, which is causing even more friendships and relationships to fall apart. The entire series, which was characterized by scandals, toxicity, and treachery, was built around the breakdown of Martell and Melody's marriage. Originally a show that had the potential to portray the intricacies of marriage, love, and entrepreneurship, it now appeared to be a never-ending drama loop with few healthy relationships to examine and no true friendships. It became clear that Carlos King would have to make significant changes to Love and Marriage Huntsville in order to keep the show from going out of style. Unlike some reality shows that can continue after losing a key character, this series seemed to lose its focus when Martell and Melody were no longer at the center of the story. You know, I totally get why people are anxious and obsessed with the Baker Street lands, because the series depended too much on the stories that the Holts had with the center of Huntsville, and their separation created a gap that the new cast members were unable to fill. A full cast reboot might be required if the show is to continue on its current course. Carlos will have to introduce fresh characters, new couples with compelling backstories independent of their ties to the Holts. He will also have to establish new dynamics that are not centered on toxic behavior, the actions and long-term effects of Melody and Martell's strained relationship. Within the Love and Marriage franchise, King has produced other shows like Love and Marriage Washington and Love and Marriage Detroit, which have been successful in showcasing a number of strong couples without making one the main focus. This has been demonstrated by these spin-offs. That successful reality shows can exist without a single couple controlling them. Narrative. Carlos might need to rethink his original strategy for the show, letting go of the Holts and reimagining it with a new cast, new dynamics, and more balanced storylines, given that Love and Marriage Huntsville was the flagship series. The show's longevity appears doubtful in the absence of this modification. Marriage and Love, the reality show Love and Marriage Huntsville, debuted on the Oprah Winfrey Network in January 2019. Carlos King, the show's creator, is well known for his work on other popular reality shows. As a novel approach to the reality genre, Love and Marriage Huntsville features wealthy African-American couples in Huntsville, Alabama. These couples, who were all successful business owners, were portrayed as resilient duos who managed to overcome the difficulties of running a company and the difficulties of marriage. However, Love and Marriage Huntsville soon transformed into a drama-filled story of betrayal, infidelity, and personal conflicts that captivated viewers across the country, despite the show's initial emphasis on family values, entrepreneurial success, and the relationships between these couples. At first, the show concentrated on 3 major couples across the nation: Maurice and Kimmy Scott, Marceau and Melody Holt. A distinct look into the dynamics of African-American families navigating the highs and lows of their marriages and businesses was offered by the portrayal of each couple as a model of success in both their personal and professional lives. With Martell and Melody exemplifying the seemingly perfect power couple, the Holts in particular emerged as the series' mainstay. Melody was a highly educated, attractive woman who worked as a developer and co-owned the construction company with Martell, who was a successful businessman. With 3 adorable kids and prosperous careers, they appeared to be the ideal couple. They were the main focus of the show because of their success, but as the plot progressed, it became clear that their seemingly ideal marriage was actually concealing serious flaws. One of the main plot lines of the show was the disintegration of their relationship. Martell's marriage to Melody ended because it was discovered that he had been unfaithful for many years. Tension was always present because of the infidelity, and Melody constantly chastised Martell for his treachery and his traitorry and his lies, and Melody constantly chastised Martell for his manipulation and his lies, and it was disintegrating the style of the show for his treachery. So the entire series was framed by the drama of their marriage, which included Martell's emotional and physical infidelity. As the infidelity was made public, the Holt's personal issues only served to heighten the suspense. On screen, viewers saw the couple's relationship deteriorate. The drama was heightened by the fact that the affair was taking place while the Holts were filming the reality show, giving viewers an unvarnished glimpse of their heartbreak and the terrible toll it took on their family. In addition to betraying Melody, Martell's affair betrayed the reputation they had built as the ideal couple. Public conflicts between him and Melody resulted from the fact that he had a child with his mistress, which further complicated matters. Melody eventually filed for divorce as a result of the stress caused by the affair and Martell's persistent lies. In 2011, Martell was a hero of the day and just amongst the biggest director clashes of the decade. The consequences of this divorce had a significant effect on other relationships in the show, and it became the main theme of the program. While other show participants struggled with their own marriage, trust, and fidelity issues, the Holt's divorce became a microcosm of the difficulties encountered by other couples. The dynamics of the show were significantly impacted by the Holt divorce. At first, other couples in Maurice and Kimmy Scott and Marceau and Letitia Scott made an effort to stay out of the drama between Martell and Melody, but as the show went on, it became evident that these couples were not exempt from the conflicts brought on by the Holt's problems. Despite being prosperous businessmen, the Scott brothers, Marceau and Maurice, became entangled in the turmoil of Martell and Melody's divorce as the story progressed. Rumors of Marceau's potential infidelity started to spread, and both brothers were questioned about their own marriages. As other couples attempted to strike a balance between their allegiance to friends and the escalating conflicts in their own marriages, this added yet another level of drama. Particularly, Marceau and Letitia were at the center of things since their relationship was the subject of some of the group's gossip and accusations. New storylines and new couples were added to the cast as the show went on, though the addition of Melody's friend Destiny as a new cast member was among the most noteworthy. Although Destiny owned a cosmetics store in Huntsville and was a successful businesswoman, her personal life soon took center stage. Shortly after she joined the cast, Destiny's marriage to LeBarick Williams ended. Their split added drama to the show and fueled the recurring theme of marital issues and adultery that came to represent marriage and love. Huntsville. In an attempt to keep the show interesting and add new dynamics, Destiny's marriage didn't last long, and LeBarick's abrupt and unexplained exit from the show only served to heighten the plot's mystery. Tiffany and L.S. Whitlow were among the other couples introduced by Carlos King. Lewis, an insurance agent, and Tiffany, a strong-willed, career-focused woman, added a unique dynamic to the program. However, they experienced a lot of stress and difficulties during their time on the show, just like other couples before them. Tiffany and Lewis soon became entangled in the web of Martell and Melody's drama, and the ongoing disputes among the show's original cast members overshadowed their plot. After a while, Tiffany and Lewis quit the show, claiming that it was negatively impacting their relationship and mental health. Whitlow's departure brought even more attention to the show's pervasive toxicity. The Holts continued to be at the heart of the show's plot despite all of these changes. A constant source of drama was produced by Martell and Melody's ongoing conflicts, public altercations, and personal betrayals. However, it also became monotonous. While the drama surrounding their divorce and Martell's actions was compelling, it resulted in cliched plotlines that lacked originality and interest. As the seasons went on, the focus of the show shifted from the couple's path to success to their capacity to handle betrayals and personal tragedies. The show was already rife with negativity by the time new characters like Stormy Steele and her husband Courtney Beasley were added. Courtney, a former professional basketball player, and Stormy, an entrepreneur well known for her lucrative business, provided the show with the much needed new energy. But even their presence was insufficient to undo the harm that Martell and Melody's ongoing drama had caused. Even Stormy and Courtney were enmeshed in the dysfunctional dynamic that had taken over the show, despite their best efforts. As the seasons went on and more contentious characters were introduced, the impression that the show was trapped in a cycle of drama from which it was unable to break was unable to strengthen by the arrival of Chris and Fletcher, another couple attempting to mediate the ongoing problems between Martell and Melody. They added figures to the mix. The show's former producer, Sonny Minks, increased the drama by getting married to Destiny's ex-husband, Moses. Fans were outraged by Sonny's actions because they violated the unwritten rule of friendship loyalty. The fact that Trisha stayed married to her estranged husband while making plans for her future with Ken added to the chaos caused by the appearance of the fitness couple. The show, which was once centered on the success stories of enterprising couples, has evolved into a forum for scandals and adultery, making it harder for viewers to identify any real connections between the contestants. When Melody arrested Martell in the 9th season for threatening to release a private sex tape from their marriage, personal drama reached new heights. The cast members were split on the matter, and this represented a major escalation in their ongoing dispute. Some cast members supported Melody's controversial decision to involve the authorities. Others believed she had overreached herself, but Melody's increasing alienation from the other women was clear as she broke off relationships with those who did not agree with her. Chaos was added by Moritz's arrest for drunk driving and Destiny's subsequent arrest for check fraud, and any compelling plot lines appeared to be overshadowed by the actors' personal problems. At this point, it became evident that Huntsville desperately needed a change in both marriage and love. The original model, which concentrated on a single central couple, failed because the split between Martell and Melody set off a series of events that impacted every relationship on the show, leaving most marriages in disarray and no true friendships. The series' inability to continue in its current form became evident. The show hasn't been saved by the addition of new couples because they got sucked into the drama too soon. The show, which started out as a promising idea to showcase prosperous Black couples and their business endeavors, has turned into a destructive cycle of adultery, treachery, and personal turmoil. Love and Marriage Huntsville requires a significant makeover in order to endure and regain its viewership. Love and Marriage Huntsville requires a significant makeover. Producer Carlos King needs to bring in new couples with different dynamics in order to completely revamp the show. That had nothing to do with the drama or the Holts. The show's emphasis needed to change from toxic relationships to the good things that come with marriage, love, and business. Without a significant update, Huntsville's Love and Marriage might have trouble sustaining its popularity and drawing in new viewers. Even though the Holt's marriage was initially fascinating, its breakdown has put the show in a vulnerable position. Only time will tell if the series can change and break free from its destructive cycle of drama. One of the main characters in Love and Marriage Huntsville, Melody Shari, previously known as Martell Holt, has played a crucial and life-changing role in the series as an original cast member. In addition to captivating viewers, Melody's transformation from the seemingly ideal wife and business partner to a divorced, independent woman has fueled numerous dramatic moments and the show's development. Her role has evolved dramatically over the course of the series, and she has established herself as a mother, businesswoman, and supporter of women's rights in the early years of Love and Marriage Huntsville, despite her personal and professional ups and downs. As the epitome of a power couple, Melody and her now ex-husband Martell Holt were prosperous business owners with a construction firm and real estate holdings. Melody managed multiple projects while raising their kids. She was intelligent, attractive, and incredibly business savvy. She was presented as the embodiment of the American dream along with Martell. On the show, they co-created a life of prosperity, prestige, and community influence. Melody was the epitome of the strong, driven, professional woman who was committed to her career and her family. Energized and self-assured, she and Martell seemed to have it all, and their captivating presence drew in viewers. Many women who balance work and family life can relate to Melody because of her business endeavors, and, quote, self-assured she was to Simon. With her massive Twitter following and a significant impact on the popularity of her blog, she has a ton of power, and there was no haunting and uncomfortable happening to prevent her from being criticized. The success of the show was largely due to this early perception of the Holt as the perfect family, which sparked the development of dramatic tension. But as the series went on, the facade of the ideal couple started to fall apart, and it quickly became apparent that Martell had been cheating on Melody for a long time. Melody's role started to change when his extramarital affair became the main plot point of the show, which she was forced to face the unpleasant truth that her marriage was based on deception, treachery, and lies. When Martell's infidelity was exposed in the first season of the show, it not only devastated her emotionally, but also made her look foolish in front of a large audience. He fathered a child with his mistress as a result of his affair, which developed into a serious relationship. Martell constantly cheated, refused to take full responsibility, and exhibited manipulative behavior, the actions composed of showing her unshed tears, endeavoring to be better than her former self, and acts as a responsibility which began to lift the weight of self-loathing and then gave birth to an act of manipulative behavior. The action turned into a pivotal moment in Melody's life, and those relationships were lynched pretty tightly at the seams. Later on, in my opinion, Melody was initially hesitant to talk about her marital problems in public. But as the show's episodes went on, viewers witnessed her growing more and more irritated with Martell, which finally caused her to decide to get a divorce from him. Since Melody had to cope with her personal heartbreak in addition to her professional and public image, the public nature of their breakup added even more drama and tension. Her brave choice to go through with a divorce became a pivotal moment in her narrative. Following the divorce, Melody's character in Love and Marriage Huntsville started to change. She was no longer primarily defined by her union with Martell and instead assumed a more autonomous role. One of the show's main themes was the story of her transition from wife to single. Her divorce compelled her to start over in both her personal and professional lives while negotiating the challenging dynamics of co-parenting with Martell, who continued to play a big role in her life even after their split. Melody stated unequivocally that her children would come first. As a mother of 4, she balanced her business endeavors with her parental duties in order to provide a secure and caring environment for her kids. In later seasons, viewers witnessed her navigating the difficulties of raising her children, further emphasizing her role as a mother, keeping up the development of her businesses. On the show, Melody's tenacity and resolve to safeguard her kids and make sure they were okay became a major aspect of who she was. A significant part of Melody's post-divorce journey was her professional development. In addition to her role as a mother, she concentrated on building her personal brand and growing her business endeavors. In addition to pursuing a career in real estate, she started her own cosmetics brand, Maven Beauty. Her status as a prosperous businesswoman was cemented by these ventures, which showed her ambition and drive. A significant aspect of Melody's personality was her role as a businesswoman, using her position to encourage other women, particularly those who have experienced comparable struggles, to overcome obstacles and succeed. Melody was also a supporter of women's empowerment, inspiring others to defend their rights and make choices that would enable them to thrive in spite of obstacles by drawing on her own experiences. Many viewers found resonance in her transformation from a devoted wife to a strong, independent, and self-assured individual, particularly those who recognize similarities in their own lives. Fans, particularly women facing their own personal struggles, found inspiration in Melody's resolve to persevere and succeed both personally and professionally. In spite of the challenges, fans generally applauded Melody's transformation into a strong, self-reliant woman, but it also caused friction with other cast members, especially Letitia Scott and Kimmy Scott. At first, Letitia and Kimmy helped Melody through the dissolution of her marriage, but as the seasons went on, their friendship grew more complex. Letitia's devotion to her husband caused their friendship to deteriorate. Like Kimmy, who at first was a supportive friend, Marceau, who frequently found himself at the center of the drama surrounding Martell, was caught between the group's conflicting dynamics as Melody grew more distant from the other women. With sporadic arguments and miscommunications, their relationship grew more strained. As their co-parenting grew more tense, the relationship with Martell was one of the biggest points of contention. Another level of drama was introduced by Melody's decision to make their problems public, including her choice to arrest Martell for threatening to release a private sex tape. The divorce had a profound effect on Martell, who frequently attempted to take advantage of circumstances, further separating Melody from the group. An important turning point in her relationships with the show's participants was her decision to break off contact with a number of women who disagreed with her decision to arrest Martell. Melody persisted in pursuing her business endeavors and staying committed to her path in spite of these conflicts. Her resilience and dedication to self-improvement were demonstrated by her ability to move past the drama and carry on creating her life the way she saw fit. The Melody was produced by Jeffrey Woncap, and he was the producer and submitted into Rentic. Viewers were captivated by her story of transformation from an apparently ideal wife to a strong, independent woman, demonstrating that strength is not just about appearance, but also about having the guts to face personal obstacles. Take charge of your life and overcome hardship by following her path. In addition to becoming a representation of entrepreneurship and inner strength, Melody also served as an inspiration for viewers who might encounter comparable difficulties. Her status as one of the most vibrant and inspirational characters on the show has been cemented by her ability to remain true to herself in the face of ongoing dramas and challenges. It becomes evident as the series goes on that Melody will remain a major character, and her development as a person and her career accomplishments will probably continue to be important aspects of the show's overall plot.